Just a little bit about the overdrive wiring. The wire here, the brown one, comes from the ammeter up, which is up in the dash, and that comes down into the relay, which is, as you will know, is tucked away in the footwell. In my case, it's on the driver's side, up on the left-hand side in the bulkhead, and the relay transfers the power down through the wires here to the cutout switch, which is all built into the overdrive and the solenoid on the side of the gearbox, and with your holding coil and your pull-in. That is powered. This one here, the white wire that comes from the number 2 on the ignition switch, is a white wire that comes into W1 in the relay, and then back out again through these wires and to the overdrive switch, which is up in the column. This comes through into these linked sections which are on the top of the gearbox. I'll explain those in a second, practically, by disconnecting the wires and showing you how they work. That comes in. You'll notice that both of them, this one has got its own earth and this one earths through the body as well. This one is an actual wire, which is a black wire which comes onto the gearbox, and I'll show you that in a second. But that is the whole thing of the wiring for the overdrive. Optional, obviously, an optional extra. As you'll see, the wiring to the relay is that the white wire there goes to the W1. It comes out at W2, and it is not red as I've indicated there. It should be the yellow with the green stripe, YG, and on this side you've got your brown with a white stripe coming from the ammeter into C1, comes out C2, and it is yellow with a purple stripe on it. Here's the 2 switches on the top of the gearbox. As you know, with a TR4 especially, this gearbox gives you overdrive in 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Very helpful in hills when it's in 2nd, as I've found. But this wire here comes from the overdrive switch, which is in the dash. That comes down into this, and this is an earth lead. You can see that going down to the back there to the gearbox. You can probably just see right at the back that's connected to the gearbox, and this earth is linked. That's got 2 wires coming into it, one to the earth. This one is connected, and it comes round to this one here. That is purely for the earth, and this one is power, and this one is power as well, which then switches so that that connects it through and makes a circuit and brings it down so that the solenoid down here works. But the wiring, as you'll see, is important. You have to check these, that they actually make a connection, so when you're in 2nd, 3rd or 4th, that these switches actually operate. Otherwise you won't get overdrive in all the gears that you need. I'll explain that in a second. Well, up there you'll see the relay in the bulkhead with the wires coming in, the power, and you'll see the brown wires and the connections, which you can see from the wiring diagram where they go, and all these wires come down, and these 2, as you see, come up into the column. So you've got your power coming in, and that one goes to the switches on the top of the gearbox, which I explained earlier. Now, with the ignition on, and obviously the overdrive switch on the column here in the on position, you'll hear when I put it into 1st gear, nothing happens because you don't want overdrive in 1st gear. But as soon as I put it into 2nd, it clacks in. You can hear the solenoid go, and into third, and finally into fourth. And make sure that when you put it into reverse, nothing happens, so that all the switching in the top of the gearbox that I've mentioned, the interlocked switches, all work properly. So the solenoid is working. Obviously you don't, in this case you would click it out of overdrive in between gear changes, not change it in with, as I'm doing here. This is just a static test to make sure the electrics are working, and the solenoids and also the relay.